It's the built-in microphone on the webcam.
There we go. Got a little countdown.
Yeah.
I was going to do the intro, but I guess I wasn't ready for it, so we might as well just get into it.
Oh, nice.
We can give it another minute or two before we get into the big dogs of the night, but there's a lot of announcements. What'd you say?
All right, never mind.
There was a lot of announcements, dude.
A lot.
So, Scythe, you mentioned that the actors are going on strike. Is this as like in solidarity with the writers, or is this a separate strike now?
I think it's a separate one.
I guess
think it has nothing to do with the writers, but I didn't really look too much into it. But I did see another source saying that the actors plan on striking tomorrow.
I wonder why.
I think they're having contract disputes as well. So
actors don't get paid enough. Fuck out of here.
You got to remember something. Yeah. It's like the majority of the Actors Guild isn't those top end guys.
Right.
It's the guys that are like doing commercials and they need minimum payments to go up.
I guess
those guys aren't getting paid the top dollars. They're getting paid the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if they need the minimum to go up for them, so it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Valid point.
I guess that makes sense. However, screw everybody. Make more money than I do, so I can't be happy for them. I just tagged everybody on Facebook. She went into the bathroom. I just told the world that she went to the bathroom. Go ahead, go. Kids just don't want to go to sleep, man. I'm telling you. So we had a ton of announcements. Before we get into the announcements, though, I wanted to tell you guys I watched Evil Dead Rise on HBO. On Max, not HBO Max.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. I thought it was boring. I'm a jumper, okay? I jump at the littlest things. I could be watching a comedy, and if there's a jump scare, you'll get me. I'll jump. I didn't jump once in this entire movie, and this is a horror movie. I know it's more known for gore and all that stuff, but I found myself bored. I was watching it with Steve. We laughed at a bunch of scenes. Like it just wasn't what I was expecting when we went to watch it. I was looking for something that was going to make me cringe. There were two moments that made me go.
Were you guys watching Discord together or something?
I tried, but I can't use the new camera in Discord. I got to use a virtual cam. I had to set it up. So we were on here. I did record our reaction, so I'll put up like a little montage of some of the better reactions we had. And then we just watched it off camera. I mean, we were on camera. Our reactions were on camera, but the video itself wasn't on camera. So yeah, that's my review. My quick review of Evil Dead Rise. It was probably the worst Evil Dead movie out of all of them.
I'll tell you what I watched that I was a little disappointed in the Machine.
I just watched that and I actually enjoyed the hell out of it.
Did you?
I mean, get around to it.
There's some funny parts. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely like some really funny parts, but I don't know. It seemed kind of like most of the movie is like kind of just there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. To me, it felt like a fun way to expand on a story that he's told in a comedy avenue. You know what I mean? Like it's a real life story that happened to him, and he was able to expand on it and create this like extra backstory and history to it.
Yeah, I mean, I get all that. I get that aspect of it, and that was kind of cool. But then, like, a lot of the jokes didn't land for me. I don't know. It was just, but there's some like a lot of the jokes don't land, and then you get hit with something that makes you laugh for days.
But is it meant to be a comedy? The trailer doesn't make it look like that much of a comedy. It makes it look more like a dark comedy.
It's more of like
it's more like
I don't know how to explain
it. 80s action films.
Yeah, it was action, but it wasn't real. It wasn't like the main focus. So I don't know how to describe it. Like what genre it could be, but
it's more like a father-son movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, that's kind of interesting. That's an interesting thing to say. I do want to point out just real quick. I got this little comment. This is from my friend Ryan, and I didn't see Evil Dead Rise in the theaters. I saw it on Max. So if you want to watch it with me, we could just stream. Just go ahead and watch it. It's there. Somebody trying to call me out. And then Fred, somebody misses your sack. I just wanted to point that out too. I don't know who this user
thank
is.
you. Who is that?
I have to look on Facebook. It was a Facebook comment.
They want to see us review Hallmark movies.
So maybe during the holidays, maybe Christmas time, we'll have a little. We'll add.
We can have a nice little cry fest together.
Maybe we'll create a separate wheel for the Hallmark movies, and we'll do that for Christmas. For December, it'll be Hallmark review-a-thon.
Please don't make us do this.
No.
Please don't make us do this.
I think you're begging not to do it. My friend's definitely going to comment on the post we make asking us to do it. So what else did I watch? I saw Insidious: The Red Door. I guess I was on a horror kick. That one was in theaters, Ryan, and you weren't invited to that one. And that one made me jump a lot, but it really wasn't a great movie. I was never like intense or scared. I'm just a jumper, so all the jump scares got me.
Yeah, I feel like those Insidious movies, like, I don't know, man. It's just, I like horror movies, but I like the more like slasher.
That's my favorite genre.
Where there's like a villain, you know what I'm saying? Like a good villain.
That's what I like too.
It's like those Insidious movies and like the what's the other one?
There's the
Abigail and all those and
not Abigail. Why can't I think of it?
It's
like the biggest Annabelle.
Oh, Megan.
No,
the ghost ones.
The ghost
Conjuring,
one.
The Conjuring universe.
Conjuring, yeah, the Conjuring.
God, I should have thought of that. Like
the Conjuring.
The doll Megan.
No, not that one. Like they don't do the same thing for me. They're just jump fests and they're just kind of like there. You know, and I kind of feel like they're very similar to each other. And
I do like the Conjuring movies. I feel like though with the Insidious movies, I remember even from going back to the very first one, it's decent up until the end, and then they spend way too much time showing the demon, and they just kind of make it silly. And in this one, they go back to the same demon from the first one. He didn't look good then. He looks just as bad now. It was just a weird decision to use him as the main bad guy. I guess it made sense story wise, but I would have preferred something different.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Did you watch anything else? I didn't watch Indiana Jones yet. And I'm finding it hard to get the motivation to go watch it, even though I want to.
Bro.
Me neither.
Me too. Look, and what's the next on the wheel? Dr. No, right?
Dr. No. I have to watch.
I watched half of it and I passed out because it was like 1:30 in the morning.
But it's tough to watch. Like to go back to a movie.
I
from
was
the 60s.
enjoying it. It just got too late for me.
Yeah. But we'll finish it because that'll be our review. That'll go up probably next week, and then the week after that, I do want to see Mission Impossible, which comes out. Actually, it comes out tomorrow.
Mission Impossible.
So that one we have to watch. That one I'm excited to watch.
A very stupid horror movie, and I think I brought it up to you guys, and I can't remember the name of it.
A stupid horror movie? Was it a parody?
It wasn't a parody, but it was like it reminded me of Tusk. You ever watch Tusk?
Yeah, I love Tusk.
Yeah, love Tusk.
Body horror is my second favorite
like
genre.
that. Like it was a decent like horror style flick, but like the villain, it was just ridiculous. Like it was Tusk. You know what I mean? Like it just looks stupid.
There's a bunch of them out there like that.
I can't remember what the hell it was called. But apparently
Netflix is a gold mine for ones
now
like
I'm
that.
Curious on how bad that one is.
Wait, are you thinking of Terrifier?
No, let me go
the
back
Dark
in our thing and look.
I did run down a Peacock movie, Devotion.
What's that?
World War II pilot movie.
Fly Life?
Yeah, Fly was good.
The World War II pilot movie with Jonathan Majors.
How's that?
Movie.
I was on Peacock.
It's pretty decent. The dude that played Hangman is in it also.
Okay.
Oh, Jack in the Box.
Oh yeah,
Jack in the Box.
That movie was
the remake of Jack in the Box. Oh God.
Yeah.
I feel like more horror movies need to not take themselves so seriously. Like Evil Dead Rise would have been better if it was just trying to be more of like a campy kind of horror movie.
Going on Fly Life.
Like
I agree. They just gotta go full send, right?
Yeah.
And just stop trying to just lean into it. Like I think that's the way to go with horror movies. If you're not gonna have like the slasher villain, you know what I mean?
Like Krampus is like a good example of a movie that just does not take itself seriously, and because of that, it's so entertaining to watch.
Absolutely. A lot of those Christmas horror movies are like that, though.
Yeah.
Like
I haven't watched the Grinch one yet. I hope those movies are on Hallmark, and then I'll definitely watch those and review those this Christmas.
Absolutely. But the Devotion movie, like I'm starting to see something with Jonathan Majors' acting style because I haven't seen a lot of them because I didn't watch what was that, Lovecraft Country.
Yep.
I never got a chance to watch that, but his acting
I
style is
watch Creed 3 too.
very interesting because he does a lot of that weird tick stuff that he does in Creed 3 in this movie also, and it's just like I don't know if it doesn't translate well. I don't know. Like it's odd. It's an odd thing that I'm picking up from him.
Well, maybe it's just because it's the same thing every time. It's like he just plays the same character.
That's kind of what I'm getting from him. You know what I mean? So and it kind of works.
Seem like we're going to see much of him anyway because of all the legal stuff he's going through.
Well, I heard that he's
apparently he was like acquitted of everything, right?
Yeah. Well, apparently he was acquitted of the girl he was arrested for beating because they had video that she beat him. But then right after that, the other lawyer was like, "Well, we also have 10 years of history right here that shows that he's been doing this for a long time anyway." So who knows what's going to happen there? I have no idea how Marvel's
Disney's going to make a decision. I'm assuming sooner rather than later with him.
They have to.
If they dropped Gunn over some dumb shit, I mean,
but they brought
Majors is gone.
They brought Gunn back though.
Yeah, maybe they learned their lesson
after they realized how ridiculous they were being.
Yeah, no, after the entire cast decided to say that they were going to quit if they didn't bring Gunn back.
That was that helped.
You know,
but
anyway, speaking of Gunn,
let's go into DC.
Hold on, before we do that, I saw one more movie.
Oh, what's that?
Ghostbusters 1.
Oh, the original.
I put it back on because recently, if you saw my Facebook, and the pictures, I visited the Ghostbusters house.
Oh yeah, man! Tell us about that trip. How was that trip?
Absolutely,
it was awesome, man. Like. It was funny. I'm at the stoplight, right? And all I see is the corner of the building peeking around another building. I'm like, that's the building right there. Like I knew it just from the corner of the building that was the Ghostbuster house. And we pull up and I just see the sign right in front above the door. I'm like, oh my God, it's actually here. You know, like I was expecting everything to be gone because they stopped filming 2 weeks ago or whatever it was.
Right.
And no, they were displaying it. They had it on the ground. They had it in the window. They opened up the door. They had the sign for the second movie. They had the 2 on the ghost, you know.
I'm pretty sure that stuff's there all the time, though.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they take
all
it down.
my times going into Manhattan, I've never gone once to see the firehouse. And it was always something I wanted to do. And I ended up just doing it. And it was very cool. And they had all these patches. I had no idea that FDNY has mascots.
Yes, each house has their own patches.
Yeah. So they have the Myrtle Street Turtles. So if you go to the firehouse in Myrtle Street, Queens, their patches are Ninja Turtles, which looks badass.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So the firehouse had. You know, they adopted the Ghostbusters, obviously, and we have Ninja Turtles somewhere else. And now I just want to go down the rabbit hole of what all the mascots are because it's interesting to me.
There's a lot of them. I've gone down that rabbit hole before. Shout out to my boy Jimmy Gedris over at the Cuckoo's Nest.
Did we add Ghostbusters to the wheel of movies to review? I don't even know. I gotta double check that.
If we didn't, we definitely should.
Yeah, we absolutely. There's plenty of Ghostbusters properties we could watch.
I mean, are we going to add in the all-female Ghostbusters one?
Yes, I actually, unpopular opinion, think that's actually a pretty funny movie. I wouldn't call it a good Ghostbusters movie, but it's a pretty funny movie though.
I'll fight you to the death on that one.
Chris Hemsworth is hysterical in that movie.
Chris Hemsworth is hysterical. The 4 main characters aren't.
Yeah.
Oh, Leslie Jones is pretty funny. She's pretty good in that movie.
No.
I'm going to add Ghostbusters now because we didn't add those.
That's a piece of shit comment.
Yeah.
No. That movie.
I'm also not as big a fan of Ghostbusters as everyone else is, so I guess I can't. I don't have my opinion doesn't carry as much for the Ghostbusters franchise. Like I enjoy it, but it wasn't like my favorite shit when I was a kid. It's it's decent, but it's not my favorite shit now. So busting ghosts needs to be more violent, in my opinion. But again,
the first one's pretty violent.
Yeah, the first one is the best one in my opinion. So
the first one's pretty violent.
Second one was decent, and then Afterlife was surprisingly awesome.
I still have not watched
so
that.
good.
I gotta go watch that.
Oh my, I love that movie so much.
That's one we can break down since you haven't even seen it yet.
I have not even watched it yet. Yeah, I mean that's how little. Not I wouldn't say how little I care about Ghostbusters, but that's how not as into it I am. I didn't need to run to the theaters for that.
Yeah,
which was a bit. And I will admit that was a big deal when that came out, and it looked like it fixed
Afterlife was
shittiness
actually the first Ghostbusters, the first movie I saw when COVID started.
When COVID started,
that was the first movie to bring me back to the theater.
Now it'll forever be tied to that.
Yep.
Twilight says I heard something about a Frank Miller Sin City 3 happening. I mean, I like the Sin City world. I like the style. Can they make something interesting out of it?
The first
kind of we'll have to see.
I mean, like they've only touched on, I think, the first 2 movies touched on like 4 out of like the 8 books.
Right, they have plenty of story.
They have plenty of story that they can go with this.
I will say it's been long enough that we haven't had a movie of that style, where it's obviously a comic book panel for panel kind of thing. So now they could probably get a better result out of it. The second one I feel like came out at a time when we were bombarded with movies like that, so it wasn't.
Well, I mean, the first one came out, and then everybody was like, "We got to do everything in this style because this is a massive hit."
Yeah,
and then like they came up with every indie comic that you could possibly imagine, throwing it up on screen in that type of style, like The Spirit and all those other Sucker Punch was one of them, and it just, I don't know, not every comic book can be a movie in my opinion.
Which is true. It's definitely true. They don't all translate. There's a reason why it's a different medium.
Yeah. A lot of them don't translate, and a lot of them, I'll be honest with you, a lot of them, even the books, like they become these big hits, and then it's one story. It's like it's not like you got 70, 80 years of like Marvel behind you, Right. A lot of these are like one singular story that was really good, and then they either try and expand on it and it goes south, or they try and pivot to something else and it doesn't work. A lot of these indie books.
Speaking of comic books that probably should translate to the big screen, that just don't seem to translate at all to the big screen, is let's talk about DC, because we had a good DC announcements today. First is the James Gunn Superman Legacy. Let me pull up a little image here for you guys, because this was actually, I think, a huge announcement. We had Nathan Fillion cast as Green Lantern, but not Hal Jordan's Green Lantern, because he's gonna play, hold on, what's the guy's name? Guy Gardner.
I was shocked by this. Shocked.
Big that they're gonna bring Green Lantern back to the big screen, and yet we're not gonna get Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart.
It's odd that they're skipping over Jon Stewart completely, because they have yet to bring him to any screen.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's mind-boggling. This has got to be a James Gunn type of, like, I'm gonna throw Guy Gardner at you and try and make you like him type of thing.
I feel like that's the saving grace, though, right? Is like, so the fact that it's Nathan Fillion is already a plus, because he's just generally good in everything he does. He's a big fan of these style of movies. He's a big fan of the comics, and the characters, and whatever.
He's great.
Collaborated with James Gunn. Fans love him. So, like, that's a great
Fillion's
casting choice. And then it's also the fact that it's James Gunn bringing Guy Gardner to the screen.
How much do you guys know about, like, the Guy Gardner?
I don't know much. I know mostly Jon Stewart and
but I do want to ask a question. Does this mean Gunn's Suicide Squad is completely out of canon because now he's recasting that character?
I think it's up to Gunn.
That's such a good question, because arguably that's one of the few bright spots of the DCEU.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, as of the Flash, that's it. DCEU doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, I would love to see Peacemaker. He's still
bringing Peacemaker in.
Right.
He's still.
Look, Nathan Fillion had a small part. You
can easily just use him again. I mean, Marvel's done it. So.
Use him again and be like, whatever,
Two of the other big casting choices, though, we got
Hawk. Hold on, because
because
I just so you guys can understand the idea that they're bringing in Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is hated by many fans. Like many fans for a plethora of reasons. And one of the big things about him is that he's not really like any other Green Lantern. Like, he doesn't have will. He's more like a Red Lantern than anything.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, at one point he infiltrates the Red Lanterns and becomes like one of them. Not to mention there's some pretty dark stuff in the comics that he does, like wanting to do the sleep creep on a sleeping Power Girl.
Jesus.
Yeah. So,
good choice, James. Good choice, James.
I don't know. Like, I like the fact that they're going with Guy Gardner is, I'm hoping, a stepping point to John Stewart.
Well, so that's the other thing I wanted to bring up is that we're going to get now our introduction to Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and a Green Lantern, not in their own movie, but in the next Superman
Yeah, I
movie.
love how that article specified it's a Green Lantern, not a Green Lantern.
Yeah,
but we're gonna get them at the same time we meet our Lois Lane, we meet our Lex Luthor, we meet our Superman. I mean, I almost feel like it seems to me anyway that it's already a big movie, considering it's going to be the first beginning to end DCU movie, fully written, produced, and whatever under the James Gunn hierarchy, and he's throwing a lot at us. We're gonna see a Superman that's young, trying to deal with being a hero and all that shit. We're getting an introduction to his biggest nemesis in Lex Luthor, which we don't know who's going to play him yet. And then on top of that, now we're getting Green Lantern, Hawkgirl. I mean, that's like,
well, it seems to me that he's building
the whole universe.
He's building either I don't think it's going to be a Justice League. I think it's going to be a Justice Society or a Justice International.
I feel the same as Fred. I'm just like,
why?
Listen, I'm not immediately feeling like, okay, you're already screwed up, but like, it just, I'm interested to know a little bit more about the overall direction, so that instead of asking these questions, we kind of know where we're going.
This is reminding us a lot of Black Adam, and them trying to jam 27 heroes into a movie.
That's 100% what I'm feeling.
Instead of just telling us a good Superman movie,
which was already the Justice Society, right?
Yeah, well, that was already the Black Adam movie was the Justice Society movie, which I think we talked long and hard about that one. But if they had just turned that into a true Justice Society movie instead of making it all about Dwayne the Rock Johnson, I think we would have gotten a better movie out of it.
Black Adam deep dive, shameless plug. Maybe. GGEN Network on YouTube.
Yeah, facts.
So I think. I don't know what direction we also don't know how big of a role these people are playing in this movie. This could be an end credit scene for all.
Well, I was just going to bring that up. I mean, for all we know, it's not some major.
Why would they announce? So sorry. Why would they announce Fillion like this and then have it just be an end credit scene?
Well, I'm thinking not an end credit scene, but more of like maybe they approach Superman to say, look, the universe needs help. And Superman's like, nah, I can barely handle Kansas. And then the movie's about him trying to figure out if he's good enough to do this. That's just a guess. I feel like it's not going to be a major role, though, because, like, I don't know. I just feel like for the first real DCU movie, I mean, Blue Beetle is the beginning of the DCU, but for this to be the first like kind of proof of concept that James Gunn can handle this, it's already a lot, and that's just nuts to me.
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, end of the day, them announcing the castings for all these, again, we don't know how much screen time they're going to have, how big of a part of the movie that they're going to have. For all we know, knowing James Gunn, they could all show up in the beginning of the movie and already killed.
Well, yeah.
He
could repeat his Suicide Squad.
So
you see the ring fly away, and then 10 years later, it'll land on somebody.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, who freaking knows what James Gunn's going to pull off with this? I mean, like, listen, my instincts with James Gunn, especially after Guardians 3, is just whenever he's got the Feige effect at this point. Whatever James Gunn says is right. Just let him go and do what he's got to do, and we'll sort it out when it all comes out, type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we have to trust him, right? We have to at least give him a chance, I should say. Maybe not fully trust him, but
I mean,
we got to give him a chance.
After Guardians 3, I'm going to fully trust him with anything at this point.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Just one of the things that he's not really involved in, but it is part of what he's bringing to us in the DCU, is one of the things I'm most excited for. That comes out very soon. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the video because everyone should know that this is out. We got a full-blown final trailer for Blue Beetle. More information about how the movie's going to feel and how it's going to look. And man, this looks amazing.
When I saw it, this trailer gave me chills, bro. I was so excited watching this thing, man. It looks so good. The transition into the suit looks good. The suit itself looks fantastic.
The CG looks great in this.
The CG looks good.
It does look great. It looks so good.
The suit having a mind of its own and talking to him. Oh man!
Well, they pull that off without making it feel like Friday or Jarvis, and it doesn't feel like he's talking to Venom, which we don't want to go that route.
Exactly.
It feels different. The movie just feels different. It's got a little it almost feels like a good combination of maybe it got an Iron Man and Spider-Man: Homecoming. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's got like the humor, but it's still got the visuals, and it seems like the action to kind of get us invested and involved. It's about his family, This just looks great. I mean, I'm biased because I'm a fan of Miguel from Cobra Kai, but this whole movie looks so good.
Yeah,
and this is the beginning. This is the first. I'm surprised the trailers are not really calling out to the fact that this is the beginning of the DCU, the brand new DCU. After
I think that's a strategy on Warner Brothers' part, to be honest with you, because if it flops, then they can turn around and just be like, "Oh, never happened. We're just gonna move on without it." You know,
they already announced it though. That's what's odd about it.
Yeah, that gets buried in the news feed.
You know? I feel like though, so I agree with you that I think it's a thought out strategy. They want to try and kind of keep it as its own separate thing, and if it sucks, then they don't have to go back to it. If it does well, this is basically feels to me like the Incredible Hulk in the phase 1 of the MCU. It didn't do well, so they just ignored it for however long as they could. Yeah. Until phase 5, where they're starting to bring characters and storylines, story threads, back from that movie. It's like they want to do the same thing here. It'll be a part of the DCU, but if it ends up not doing well, then they won't even touch it for maybe 20 years. However, the counter to that is I feel like because The Flash was so bad, Shazam did so bad, if they don't really stress that this is not a part of what came before and this is more a part of what's coming now, I feel like you're almost lumping it in with the old stuff.
Yeah.
And you're almost setting it up to fail. If they...
Yeah, but if it's a movie, it doesn't matter, right?
Well, I don't know.
If this movie blows everybody away, then none of that matters.
Yes and no. If nobody goes to see it in theaters, the movie might be fantastic, but it's going to...
I have a feeling that this is going to have... It's going to have the effect of a few people... not a great opening weekend... but do sustained good numbers.
I hope at the very least, if the opening weekend it sucks, that they, people go out word of mouth, the movie is great. And
that's what I think is going to happen with this movie. I think if it is, for everything that we've seen so far from it, it looks great, right?
Look at that. Look at that suit. It just looks so good.
Maybe it doesn't have a big box office blast at the movies because it's still a Blue Beetle movie, but everybody's like, dude, you got to go see Blue Beetle. It's fucking amazing.
I hope.
We got to see what happens.
So much about this that just looks phenomenal to me. I can't get over the fact that we just had a $220 million Flash movie where every piece of CG looked like a cartoon straight out of a PS2 cinematic movie. And then here we are with the Blue Beetle that really shouldn't look great. Blue Beetle, that the whole concept is just
it's got the Iron Man effect right now. It just everything they're doing is just looking good.
Everything looks good. It seems like it's working.
It would be a great catalyst for the DCU without it meaning to be the catalyst.
This does have big shoes to fill.
Half the budget.
And everything looks so much better. I know we haven't seen the movie yet, but everything in the trailer alone, everything looks a million times better.
The trailer looks better than the Flash trailer did. So
that is true. That is
facts.
The CGI in the trailer looks better than the CGI in the Flash.
My only complaint
in the Flash trailer, we were like, this looks fucking terrible.
My only real complaint, and this is really just a nitpick, and we haven't seen the movie yet, is that it seems like the villain they're doing that generic like villain is the exact opposite of the hero kind of thing. Which
I mean, to be
it's
fair
an
though,
origin story, so it's like they kind of have to. You know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
the Black Beetle is Blue Beetle's
arch nemesis. See, I don't know
arch
the comics as
nemesis.
well.
Yeah.
I know the character from the Injustice games.
Basically,
and I always thought he was one of my favorites.
Basically that beetle that attaches to him.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like Green Lanterns. There's all different colors. Like there's yellow beetles, there's black beetles, there's blue beetles, and they all have different like things to them.
Maybe that'll be the hook for James Gunn's DCU. Every character, like he's gonna bring in all the different colored versions of every single character.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You know, he'll bring in he'll bring the red kryptonite finally to the big screen. The what is it? There's green kryptonite, yellow kryptonite.
If they're doing Green Lantern, I'd love to see Atrocitus.
Well, Green Lantern is a whole. That's just it's kind of
so
garbage.
Thing, but fucking Atrocitus, give me Atrocitus. You know, that's
there's a lot. There's a lot of with the Green Lantern they can explore that they never did.
And we got to keep in mind, just for anyone who's listening or who catches this later, this movie comes out August 18th. That's not that far away.
Very soon.
Not that far away. So keep your eyes peeled. Blue Beetle. All right, it looks good. Go and see the movie. If you're not interested in the movie, go and see it anyway, because making this successful just helps James Gunn get his idea and his vision off the ground. Because that's what we want. Yeah. We need something new for the DC world. There's so many stories there that they can rival the MCU, and with the MCU movies not doing so great, let's give them some love over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we go into
DC's time to take over.
It really is.
They have the opportunity.
It really is. And before we jump into the Marvel stuff,
I don't know if they're going to have the opportunity for long, though.
Well,
I really don't.
Well, I mean, what's coming out, though? I mean, I know there are characters that we want to see, but what has been announced that makes us super excited right now for MCU? I mean, Kang Dynasty, but that's still got years to go.
Deadpool.
Well, that's what I was gonna hold off and go to Deadpool, but I guess we can go there now.
No, hold off. We can hold off.
Because I wanted to. We're gonna go hard on Deadpool. I wanted to talk about real quick.
That's just one movie, though.
Yeah, but there's other. Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this trailer? Hold on, let me pull it up here real quick. The Twisted Metal trailer. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, I just watched it.
Yeah.
So, how much after seeing the trailer does it suck that it's on Peacock?
I don't know if it's going to suck that it's on Peacock.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
it's violent. Twisted Metal should be.
Who says they can't?
I don't know. Have they come out with anything that's as violent?
I mean, no, but
right. It's a family-friendly channel. You know what I mean? It's not. They host The Office. I want to see something that's violent. Like this is Twisted Metal. It looks good. The trailer actually looks entertaining.
I mean, it looks entertaining. I don't know.
I'm still on the fence with it, but
I'm a little on the fence with it because I don't think it's going to be the dark, guttural.
That's my problem, and I don't because it's on Paramount Plus. I don't think they're going to go that route. And I feel like, how do you do Twisted Metal and not make it like just dark and violent and moody and all that shit? It's more comedy,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was some comedy aspects to Twisted Metal, but I mean, the majority of it is dark and fucked up. I don't know. See, like it's tough because it looks good. It looks like it's going to be entertaining, but it also doesn't really look like Twisted Metal.
Right. Well, this is my two biggest fears. One is that it's going to go the route of Halo, where the trailers look decent, but then the actual show is just garbage and really feels nothing like the game. But the other thing is that because it's a show, and the way this trailer is set up, it makes it seem like we're essentially going to be building up to a major Twisted Metal moment where there's a lot of cars with
in an arena or whatever.
Right. Whereas if it was a movie, then we could get to that moment faster. If we're gonna have to wait, say 6 episodes,
it looks like they're just like hunting each other rather than it being like an arena battle.
Right. And then maybe the big moment at the end is going to be them in some sort of big arena. But like that's not. We should get that quick. You know what I mean? That should be what the majority of the action is like. Multiple cars going at it. I mean, we get all the big characters. We got the cop. We got Sweet Tooth, which actually looks fantastic.
The chick that was the Formula One racer.
Yeah. I mean, we get a lot of it looks good, but because it's on Peacock, it just kind of like I don't know, throws me off a little bit.
That doesn't bother me. I just hope it's. I just hope it's more interesting than the trailers seem to show us.
Well, I guess that's the other thing too, is the trailers focus so much on the comedy. And listen, Anthony Mackie's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I love
the one who plays the girl he's with. I can't remember her name in real life. She played Mirabelle in Encanto. She is a funny actress as well. Like Will Arnett is the voice of Sweet Tooth.
Who brings up Encanto when you're talking about that girl? She played Rosa on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Get it right.
But I have a 4-year-old kid, so Encanto is more fresh on the brain. But yeah, so they have good actors in the show, but I don't like that it's a show. I don't like that it doesn't.
I don't like honestly like Will Arnett voicing Sweet Tooth.
I don't mind that though, because he's got a good deep voice and he knows how to sound menacing. He's done voiceover work before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So he can pull it off.
He's also so goofy all the time. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to you got to be able to separate the goofiness.
I'm Batman.
When you just isn't hearing his voice.
Yeah. I mean, I do
Samoa
like
Joe playing him though is great.
Samoa Joe playing Sweet Tooth is amazing. Thomas Hayden Church playing the cop guy is perfect. I think
perfect. Yeah. You know what's funny? When I saw him, I go, I know that guy. Who is that? It took me to the very end of the trailer when they showed his name that I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
No,
my thing too is like, what route are they taking with this? Are they going full like Calypso with it? Or
maybe we'll have to wait
or is it just going to be like a death tournament like a death race at the end? I don't think they're going to go arena because
I guess the plus of it is that I'm going to watch it. They got me enough where I'm going to watch it. So that's like the positive. But let's move over to Disney.
Good.
Let's move over to Disney because we got some big things there. First things first. Fred and I were talking about this earlier today, and Fred, I'm going to pull this up so you can get chills again because this was just phenomenal. They've officially confirmed that the next live action show we get is Rebels. I'm sorry, is Ahsoka, which is basically Rebels.
It's basically Rebels.
They give us every character we wanted to see. They literally show us Thrawn. The only one that didn't show us is Ezra.
They did show us Ezra.
Is okay because
they showed a picture of Ezra.
No,
we got orange lightsabers.
Hologram.
Well, yeah, and there was a picture, a mural of them, right?
And
I like how the mural is drawn in a way where it mimics the cartoon.
I will say this whole trailer looks absolutely amazing. The only thing I'm disappointed in is how Thrawn looks.
See, I thought he looked good.
I thought he
to the
looked
way
good,
they had the Grand Inquisitor look. They actually have Thrawn down pretty well.
I don't know. He just looks. It looks like too. I don't know if it's the makeup or the CGI or the hue of blue that they decided to put him in, but it looks so painted on. It looks like somebody just slapped him in the face with a blue paintbrush.
I guess I can understand what you're saying, but I don't know. The fact that they went so accurate. Like they really tried to be as accurate as possible to his look.
He's the only part of the trailer that looks fake to me.
Yeah, because even Ahsoka looks like her skin tone doesn't look like it's
that's what kind of my point was.
I guess I'm sorry they did show us Ezra right there in that little hologram.
Yeah,
that's the most we see of him. But I don't know. This just looks amazing, man. This looks like it's gonna blow Mando out of the water. I can't wait.
Yeah,
it really might.
Jumping the gun, but it looks phenomenal.
It really might blow
Mando season
giant
3.
Whale, bro,
it'll blow out season 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Though it just looks so.
See, I
thought it looked good.
Let me go back.
I don't know, like
it doesn't look too blue to me. It looks like they have a good skin tone there.
Yeah.
I wish they had
it's like the same as what Cad Bane. Is it kind of the same blue as Cad Bane?
Yeah, but Cad Bane's not a humanoid character, so you can get away with it a little bit more. I wish they had gone a little darker on the blue, kind of like Nightcrawler and X2.
Okay, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? It just seems so. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm biased because I'm just so excited for this show that I'm just like I can't say anything bad
for this show. I'm not saying that the entire show is going to suck just because Thrawn's a little off.
Right,
I'm just saying that it's if I got to point out the one part of the trailer that just kind of was like, that's it.
Is this moment here?
And I was so excited for Thrawn too. I think that's why I'm a little bit disappointed about his look.
Yeah, well, you know what? In this case, though, I guess he has a clear chance to win us over when the show is actually on. Because I mean, there's just this show is going to give us everything we want. Jedi, the Mandalorian. We're going to get freaking
Inquisitor,
everything.
Inquisitors.
Jedi's training. They're not even Inquisitors.
Siths.
They have orange
Oh,
lightsabers.
man.
They're not really Inquisitors. It looks like they're.
Well, what about
almost
the guy
rogue-
with the
rogue
spinning
Sith.
in the end?
Yeah, the one with the spinning.
Grand
Oh, at the end,
Inquisitor?
you're right. I forgot about that scene.
It's the Grand Inquisitor, isn't it?
The Grand Inquisitor is not dead at this point. I guess it depends on when the show takes place.
That's what I mean.
You know,
It's
Right here is what we're talking about. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about this.
Yeah.
God, I just love this so much. I really hope
It
that
looks so good, man.
it's so good. I'm really excited for that. I think that so far, besides Boba Fett, Disney has been knocking the Star Wars shows out of the park.
the shows in particular, absolutely, they really
shows,
have.
Yeah.
shows in particular have been really, really top notch, and I don't see them dropping the ball on Ashoka.
Right.
Until we get the Rey Skywalker movie.
Oh, stop!
Don't even bring that up.
Hatred of Rey. Enough.
It's not that I hate Ray. It's just I
You're
don't
just
like
mad they
Rey.
gave a lightsaber to a girl. Stop it.
No, I just
What? I'm excited for Ahsoka. What are you talking about?
No, you ever see that Freddie Prinze Jr.
No.
Yeah, his interview.
What?
His interview?
No, honestly, most
He,
people don't like Ray because she decided to call herself a Skywalker, and there's no reason why she should be calling herself a Skywalker. That's why I don't like her. I just don't want her to be a main.
Most people wanted her to be evil as well. Like I'm a Palpatine, and she goes to the dark side.
I didn't want that. I wanted Kylo
I
to
did.
not bitch out. I wanted him to full blown.
I wanted
evil.
that full role reversal where
I
they're
would've been okay
fighting
with
each
that.
other, but it was Ben that goes good.
That would have been more interesting than what we got. But anyway, we're not going down the Star Wars
Yeah.
rabbit hole. Ahsoka trailer 2. When is this coming out? Let me get the release date here. Do they even give us a release
It was
date?
August 23rd, I think.
August 23rd. So we're getting August 23rd, Ahsoka.
which should
episode
line
1
up
release,
at the end of Secret Invasion.
Which, before we get into the Deadpool 3 news, I wanted to ask you guys, are you guys all caught up with Secret Invasion? We don't have to go deep into it, but just kind of get a general
There's only
feeler.
3 episodes, right?
Yeah, there's only
Yeah.
6
Yeah,
total.
I think
So tomorrow's episode
I'm
4.
caught up.
I'm
Yeah.
caught up, and I'm loving it so far.
I really am loving it. It's a little slow. It's paced a little slow.
Definitely a little slow. for
That
sure.
scares me because we only have 3 episodes left.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But this has been the problem with Marvel's TV shows.
Right. Pacing's
for
been
both.
all over the place.
Pacing's been
Whatever's
all
going
over
on.
the place. And this is no different. And unfortunately, I mean, like, listen, Samuel L. Jackson's amazing in it. The show's it's keeping me entertained. Like, it's a real spy thriller, whodunit, twists and turns left and right. It's got me. I'm in. I'm full blown in, right?
Yep.
But there's a lot of fat to be cut, and there's a lot of, like, I don't know. It's just the pacing. Like, they're not, and you know what it is that with a show like this, where you're going to come out weekly, right?
Mhm.
You have to end each episode on a real, like, either cliffhanger or something, and it's just like nothing's happening.
So, well, yes and no. I mean, in episode 3, we end with
Episode 3 had the
Gaia, I
best
think her
ending
name, right?
kind
She
of-
gets shot, and
Yeah.
kind of like the only problem there is in the trailers we've already seen so many scenes of her that haven't happened yet. So clearly she's not dead.
Of who?
Is her name
Gaia.
Gaia? It's
Yeah,
Gaia,
Gaia.
right? Yeah.
Talos'
Talos' daughter. So like clearly she's not dead, which points to she maybe secretly gave herself the Super Scroll serum or whatever they're calling it, and she's gonna have powers that will allow her to fight, get Gravik at the end of the season. To me, the best thread of the entire show so far is Rhodey potentially being a scroll. I mean, at this point, I think it's kind of
No, they
common
confirmed
knowledge.
it. Yeah,
They didn't fully confirm it. Who fully confirmed it?
The
Yeah,
beginning
nobody.
of episode 3.
No, they didn't.
No, I didn't.
Where are you getting that?
Rhodey's a scroll. Like, I don't understand what the fuck you talking about.
There's no confirmation. I mean, I think it's
No.
obvious, but
Yeah.
there was no official confirmation that he's a scroll.
I thought there was.
What show are you watching? are you reading the comics?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
They don't say it. The biggest hints we got is he calls Fury Nick, and then Fury says to Talos that he has a line on a scroll that's high up in the government. That's all we got. And then you hear his voice at the end of episode 2 or episode 3, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Which I mean, it sounds like it's his voice. You know, who knows? Like they could all of a sudden turn around and be like, "No, gotcha, it wasn't him." But they haven't flat out said it. What do you mean?
We're gonna go back and rewatch episode 3.
Yeah,
I left episode 3 being like, Rhodey's definitely a scroll. They confirmed it.
no.
I don't know what made me think that, but
But otherwise, that thread, I do feel like, to your point, Fred, there's only 6, and I would have preferred if maybe there was 9, and we had more of these threads of like who is a scroll, but not just who's a scroll of people we just met, but like characters that we've seen for a while now. I would have loved to have a few more of them in the show. Yeah. Maria Hill, for example, they killed her off in episode 1.
Yeah,
I would have preferred for her to stick around and for us to start questioning whether she's a scroll or not. Maybe she does a few things that Nick Fury's like, I don't trust you. You know what I mean? So like, Rhodey to me is the biggest thread, and that's awesome. But like, how long has he been a scroll? Like, have we seen him in previous movies or wherever where he was actually a scroll and we didn't know?
This is gonna be like, I got a funny feeling that this entire show is just another way for Marvel to go back and retcon shit later on.
Maybe.
Well, he was a scroll. You know what I mean? Like,
it wasn't really like, in other words, like, for example, in Captain America: Civil War, was Rhodey a scroll? If so, that means that the crippled Rhodey was not the real Rhodey, right? And that was when they can rescue Rhodey, and he never got shot by Vision. Like, they could change all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they could change all types of shit.
He made it a point to mention that he's known about the scrolls for 15 years. So that's a long time in the MCU.
I think Marvel's been looking for ways to just put loopholes in for all their properties at this point. Yeah. They have the multiverse loophole. They have the secret
scroll loophole.
The scroll loophole.
like literally anything that a writer is like, I wish we didn't do that. They go, oh, we got an answer for that now. Otherwise, I'm going to show
everybody that died as a scroll.
I do think it's a little slower, which is fine because it's not really
Black Widow
action.
Returns.
Oh. Yeah, right. Right, the Black Widow that time wasn't really Natasha Romanoff. It was a scroll impersonating her, although she didn't turn into a scroll when she landed. But, they could just go like, oh, well, some scrolls don't do that. And that's it, problem solved.
It's because it was on the Soulstone planet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. They could change it because it has to do with the Infinity Gems. So, my only thing is I don't know that we're going to get a lot of action. Because I don't feel like the show almost we shouldn't get a lot of action. The show's not really about
it's a political thriller,
right? So if they take the last episode and give us an hour-long fight scene, it's like kind of missed the point.
It's not going to feel the same. You know what I'm saying? The fact that they're looking for that they're like kind of introducing Super Scrolls in a certain way is really cool. Again though, that entire thing could be a red herring. That could just be.
It could be a red herring, but like the fact that it seems like they're introducing Super Scrolls without the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Which it's fine because it kind of fits the MCU we've gotten, but I feel like that was an easy connection to the Fantastic Four that they almost are disconnecting right now. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a smart thing or not. I mean, we'll find out.
The Scrolls in general are an easy connection to the Fantastic Four, which they're not connecting right now.
Right.
But
I guess they could, though. Fantastic Four movie is rumored to take place in the past, right? So for all we know, the Scrolls could be a major part of their movie.
Yeah, we don't know when in the past. Like no, not in the 60s.
It's a rumor. I mean, I don't know. It's not. Nothing's official.
No, that was the Blade movie.
No, Blade? I don't remember.
Yeah, Blade was supposed to take place in like the.
Oh, maybe I got it wrong then. Yeah, it could be.
Like the start of the 1900s, go to the fucking 60s, and then.
Oh, I didn't know that. Then that makes a. Then maybe I'm wrong. So maybe that's not the case.
But I think they changed that about the Blade movie because they have 19 different writers on it so far, and 27 different directors.
Kit Harington, speaking of the Blade movie, just as we're jumping around for the news here, Kit Harington said in an interview that there was never any talk in the background of him actually being in the Blade movie. So that's an interesting thing for him to say, considering that at the end of the movie he was in, Blade approaches him about the sword. So like,
I mean, like I never took that as saying that Black Knight was definitely going to be in the Blade movie either, though.
Well, I always took that as not necessarily Kit Harington would be in the Blade movie, but that Black Knight, the character of Black Knight, would be in the Blade movie, which made sense considering that, like you just said, if Blade was going to be in the past, that different Black Knight could be there. So maybe that's what Kit Harington is talking about. But I don't know. I feel like it's been years, and
it might just be Skrull Harrington. He could be
Skrull Harrington. That's going to be the answer for everything.
Yeah.
Be like, the whole.
Tell you, multiverse and solves every loophole they've ever had a problem with.
You just solved it. Everyone's complaining that they bitched out the Hulk and they wore an Endgame. It wasn't the Hulk. It was a Skrull.
I'm going to hate every second of this, too. Like, I'm already getting annoyed with the multiverse shit, and I knew I was going to. Because, like, when you start using the multiverse as your scapegoat it's just lazy storytelling.
That's how they explained Jonathan Majors being recast. The
Yeah,
Kang we met wasn't really a Kang, it was a scroll.
Yeah,
They're gonna be like, that's why he lost. He's not really the Kang the Conqueror. This is Kang the Conqueror. They're gonna introduce some new guy.
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. He's gonna be like, yeah, my role in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I was a scroll the whole time. So let's talk about some good news. Some of the good Marvel stuff.
Is it?
Oh, this is good. You don't think this is good?
No, I don't know what you're gonna say.
Where is my image?
I know where he's going with this.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
This one. Yeah.
The yellow suit. Deadpool 3. Wolverine bringing us the classic yellow and blue with sleeves, though, because apparently it's cold in Canada.
This movie sounds more like the madness that Doctor Strange was trying to be.
Man, you beat me to it. I was going to make the same comment. Yeah. It seemed, and the thing is here, I feel like is more likely to deliver on the madness we expected, because we know Ryan Reynolds is going to push for every meta joke he could think of.
Yep.
But first, your thoughts on the suits. We need to go.
Oh man, I mean, Deadpool always looks great, but holy shit, we're finally getting the blue and yellow.
You're not one of the people who thought that the Deadpool suit looked too red.
No,
I could not understand that when people were saying that. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It looks too bad.
It looks the same. Like when I was reading that, I was like, are you nuts? Like it looks like the same suit, just a little bit.
Yeah, that makes zero sense.
It's definitely a brighter red than the previous suit. But here's the thing: the people that are complaining about Deadpool having a brighter red suit are the people that were only introduced to Deadpool by the movies.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Anybody that is the classic Deadpool suit.
Right.
But I love the other suits, but this one is like, this is New Mutants 98.
Right.
Deadpool.
Right.
Like, that is the OG Deadpool suit. And I'm sorry, but if you don't like it, suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, go kick rocks.
Yeah.
But now let me ask you this
question.
Go watch
a different movie.
There's a lot of complaints about the Wolverine suit having sleeves.
Why?
Again, it's people complaining for the sake of complaining, right? Because it makes less sense that he doesn't have sleeves than he has sleeves. He doesn't want to get cut and all that kind of
stuff. I mean, it doesn't make sense that he wears a yellow and blue suit in the fucking first place. But
we're talking about a comic book costume.
He's cut already. We've been watching.
We're talking about a guy that can't be hurt, so it doesn't matter if he's got sleeves, shirtless, or whatever. He can be running around naked. It doesn't matter.
And they showed him working out, getting back into getting fit for this role again, and he looks jacked.
Right.
Jackman is back. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy too how jacked he gets for these roles. I mean, he's obviously taking some sort of
I don't.
He's done all the Bruno.
Who gives a shit if he's got sleeves or not? We finally have the blue and yellow suit that we all wanting.
My thing is the big rumor or the big info we've gotten is that there's going to be multiple Wolverines. Like, he's going to play him across multiple universes or whatever.
There's a rumor that we're getting the yellow and brown one as well.
Right. So maybe that one doesn't have sleeves. Like, people need to just relax. For me, I was actually the detail that I love the most is that they actually put in the silver. I can't really zoom in on it, but they put in the silver slots where the claws come out.
Yeah,
which, that's just classic comic, classic freaking the animated show. Like,
that's great.
It was one thing I always didn't like about the gloves in the original X-Men movie when you had the black leather, is that they just ripped through the leather every time, and that just didn't make sense.
So this makes me think.
So I love it.
Is this X-Men 97 Wolverine? Like, because they plucked Xavier out of X-Men 97 for the Illuminati, right?
Right.
So is this their way of plucking Wolverine out of X-Men 97? Considering they're using the suit?
It could be, or they just wanted to use the yellow suit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it has necessarily a connection to X-Men 97. I'm just...
Because they're traveling every multiverse in this movie.
Yeah, let's be honest. They knew that everybody wants to see him in the fucking yellow and blue suit, so they put him in the yellow and blue suit. I don't know if it's got any connection to X-Men 97 at all, but
right. Well, so the stuff we do know about the movie is that Wolverine and Deadpool are going to be essentially traveling the multiverse together for whatever reason, right? We don't know for sure what the reason is, but whatever reason.
I'm assuming that Deadpool gets in trouble with the TVA.
This is the rumor. This is the major leak that essentially came out that everyone's saying is fact, but there's no official confirmation.
Yeah,
so
Deadpool gets in trouble with the TVA for fucking with time at the end of Deadpool 2, right?
Right, we all saw that.
And then Mobius recruits him to basically go and prune all of the branches that he created by doing all this shit. So now he's got to go back and basically we're getting Deadpool kills the Fox universe.
Right. Which is funny because what they're basically saying is that all the universes or branching universes that he created, timelines or whatever that he created, are the movies we've already seen. So it's the old Fantastic Four movies, the Punisher movies, the old X-Men movies. I mean, so it's already been confirmed.
There's a rumor that Ed
Norton
Norton is going to appear in this.
I heard that too, which I guess that Hulk is not a part of the MCU anymore. But
well, there might be a thing where when Deadpool goes to find Wolverine, he's fighting Hulk.
It could be, but now Hulk's not a Fox property though.
No,
that was Universal.
I mean, it doesn't matter though.
It doesn't really matter, but we also know that the scenes that I just pulled up, it was leaked essentially that they're fighting in an area where the actual Fox Studios logo is in the background.
Yeah.
Which is just fantastic. I mean, that's just hysterical. You know what I mean? That they're legit just destroying the Fox
Pull up
studio.
that picture again of
because you can see the Fox Studios logo in the background.
Well, I got to pull up a picture of that because the ones I pulled up for whatever reason didn't have the Fox Studio logo. 1 second.
It looks like they're making Hugh Jackman look a little younger when he's in the blue and yellow
he's got
suit.
a little bit of that tech going on.
And what we so as far as we know is they're plucking Wolverine right before Logan happens. Like they're pulling him out right before Logan happens. That's apparently the rumor. So maybe him and Wolverine are running into other selves, other variants of themselves.
Well, Logan takes place a long time in the future, so I mean they could pluck him out anywhere on the timeline. You know what I mean?
I guess I just remember reading that they're pulling him out before the Logan movie.
Yeah, well, I think no matter what, it's going to be before the Logan situation because he dies in Logan, so it's got to be before that, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean when before. You know what I mean?
I guess
it could be 40 years before Logan happens because Logan happens 100 years in the future or something crazy. It's a crazy number that they did that in. So I don't know. I've always wanted to see Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe on live screen, obviously, but this feels more of like a cop out. And
cop out?
I hate to say that. Yeah.
Why?
It feels like another loophole. It feels like another loophole. It feels like, how do we get rid of all that Fox shit? This is how we do it.
Because they're contracted to use these Fox characters.
But that ends at the end of this year, though. All those contracts are up at the end of this year. So
I thought it was 2025.
No, it's 2023. It's over. I'm pretty sure.
I thought that's why we weren't getting any X-Men movies for a while because they were still under contract.
It might be 2024. They can't recast until 2025.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Which is why it makes sense to kill off the Fox universe because they can use those characters freely.
I mean, no, they still can't.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
They're using the previous actors.
Yeah, they can use them in this to kill them off, and then we won't be able to see.
That's what I'm saying.
We won't be able to see anybody again until much later on.
Right, and they'll be recasted later on.
Right? It just feels like this is another Skrulls, another multiverse. Like, let's find a way to entertain the fans while cleaning up our universe here.
I don't know, man. I don't see it like that.
I don't know. It just I'm actually a little bit worried about this movie.
I'm not,
because I feel as though they're kind of putting a lot on this to clean up.
Is wrong. Hold on.
I agree. Listen,
I'm just calling it like I don't know. Like
I don't
having Deadpool be the one to clean up all of this shit.
Kenny.
Makes sense.
Kenny.
It makes sense though. So why what's the argument against it? You said there's a whole comic line where Deadpool kills the Marvel universe.
Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. But
so this is that. Why, how is that not the right storyline to adapt?
This isn't Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. This is Deadpool kills the Fox universe. Because Disney's like, we need to clean this shit up, and we can't cast anybody else as Wolverine for the next 2 years. So let's just do this.
But I would rather this than them just arbitrarily giving us a shitty version of that storyline. This at least makes sense. It fits what we've gotten. We've seen all these characters on screen.
I'm not saying it doesn't fit. What I'm saying is it feels kind of like a cop-out.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I could see the rumor that all these MCU movies are taking place in different universes as a way of saying that they're not really that connected. I could see that being a cop-out. But this, I feel like, is a smart use of what they have available to them to bring Deadpool and future mutants into the MCU. So to me, it's not a cop-out. To me, it's a smart idea.
This doesn't bring any future mutants into the MCU.
Well, you don't know that. We haven't seen the movie yet.
The way they're setting this up is this just ends all of the previous storylines. It doesn't bring any future mutants into the MCU.
So apparently you look like you're wearing a toupee, according to one shot.
At least I have hair, Steve. All right, at least I have hair.
Hey, relax, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Okay, you're surrounded by baldies over here.
I'm the only one of us with hair. God damn it.
We didn't take a shot at you. Okay?
Yeah, I mean we're just having a conversation here. I don't know. I mean, listen, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't agree with it at all.
I mean, I'm not saying I won't enjoy the movie because, like, seeing Hugh Jackman in the yellow and blue obviously fills my nostalgia cup. Like, there's gonna be a lot of nostalgia value to this movie. There's gonna be a lot of like, oh shit, they killed Elektra. Oh shit, Ben Affleck's back as Daredevil. Yay! Like, there's gonna be a lot of that shit.
Let me ask you this question: you think Human Torch shows up and it's Chris Evans, or you think they stay away?
From that? Of course, absolutely,
100%.
Why would they not do that?
I would rather. I mean, I think they will do that, but I would rather see the things.
He said himself he's wanted to do that for the longest time.
Well, he did say in an interview, I think it was about a year ago at this point, that if he came back to the comic book world, that he would prefer to revisit Johnny Storm. So maybe that was him hinting that that's what the conversations were about. You know what I mean? I want to see the Thing show up though, because in my opinion, he was one of the better characters from the Fantastic Four movies, or one of the better done characters, I should say. Agreed. I also want Dolph Lundgren to play the Punisher.
My thing too is, like, if they're gonna do this, they need to do it where Deadpool finds creative ways to kill all of these characters.
Right.
It can't just be a gunfight every time. Because
it can't be an adamantium bullet.
It can't be a Wanda 30-second murder scene of the Illuminati.
They need to put up a fight.
It needs to be stretched out.
But they're going to have to do that for some of them, though, because
maybe a couple of them, but they can't have a group. You can't sit Deadpool in the middle of the old school X-Men with Halle Berry returning as Storm and all these people, and then let him do like a 2-second murder clip of everybody. Like
they're gonna do that. They're gonna do that.
No, they can't.
Of course they are.
Not after that debacle.
I feel like they will learn their lesson from.
I hope so.
You guys are nuts. Let me tell you something.
Multiverse of Madness.
They are not going to learn.
Though they haven't learned a damn thing since the multiverse started. So
the thing about it is that they're going to have to do that, right? They have to dictate who the main guy.
Elektra's going to pop out, do some fancy martial arts moves, and then Deadpool's just going to end her real quick.
He's going to shoot her in the face.
Honestly, I feel like Ben Affleck. If they do get him,
Jones move.
I think if they do get Ben Affleck to show up in the Daredevil suit, his stipulation is going to be, I'm going to show up for 1 second, you shoot me in the face, and then I walk away. Like he's not going to be getting in shape for anything crazy.
Yeah,
I think if the Thing shows up, you have a real fight. Maybe you have him and Wolverine go at it with Deadpool.
Yeah.
Who else would show up though? I'm trying to think of who else could.
Well, they can't have all the Punishers.
Well, you're gonna have one of them, right? Ray Winston unfortunately passed, so he's not Ray Stevens. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so he's not around. But you get Thomas Jane. He could show up. Dolph Lundgren though has got to be the guy though. You got to bring him back for a cameo.
Please,
maybe
God.
Let him come back, please.
Please no.
I would love to see Nightcrawler back. That would be fire.
Nightcrawler, 100%. What about? Let me ask you this question: Howard the Duck. Does he show up? Duck boobies?
No, because it's you already have a new Howard the Duck.
True.
But this isn't the same universe. That's a scroll.
Doesn't
Howard
matter. He's not killing an MCU. Howard
that's
the
not
Duck.
Howard the Duck. That's
It's
Howard the
Deadpool
Scroll.
kills the MCU. It's Deadpool
Howard the
kills
Scroll.
To your point, this isn't Deadpool kills the MCU. This is Deadpool kills the Fox movies.
Deadpool kills
So
the
Howard the
Skrulls.
Duck is in there. Howard the Duck is a part of it.
Just have Deadpool kill the Skrulls and game over.
Honestly, you ever read that story? It's one of my favorite stories of all
Which
time.
one? Deadpool kills the Scrolls?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a real story.
Invasion,
Yeah, me neither.
Secret Invasion.
Ray just
Secret
definitely
Invasion.
made that up and stumbled onto something.
No. But you know how they do these comics where they do Secret Invasion across like all the books,
Yeah.
right? Deadpool's Secret Invasion storyline is Fury pays him a buttload of money to infiltrate the Skrulls, and basically Deadpool lets himself be kidnapped and lets them try and take his DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And they inject themselves with Deadpool DNA, and then they
cancer.
well, that's what happens is because they don't have cancer, all their cells start replicating at extreme speed and they all explode. Which is his plan all the time, all along.
Please let that happen. Let that be like an after credit scene, and then they go, "See, scrolls are done." Sorry.
But I mean, listen, man. Obviously, I'm excited for this because I like the nostalgia of seeing Hugh Jackman back, even though he's not my first choice to play Wolverine still. Like,
well, it is funny, right? You know, he won us over with how tall and kind of lanky he is as Wolverine, even though Wolverine is historically just short and
stocky. He didn't win me over until Logan. I'll be honest with you.
No,
I never liked him.
I thought X2, to me, in X2, he won me over. I mean,
X2 was the biggest load of bullshit I've ever seen. That was Berserker Rage.
No, it wasn't Berserker Rage. It was just Wolverine being Wolverine.
No, it wasn't Wolverine. It wasn't.
He won me over. My opinion is he won me over in X2. But my point is,
I agree.
You know, seeing him in the suit, as cool as it is, the tallness and then the lankiness kind of stands out a little bit more. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing like the short, stocky, wider, Wolverine. But yeah, that's just we're nitpicking, honestly, because it's just exciting. I wonder if Bryan Singer is sitting like wherever he is right now and kind of going, shit, I could have done yellow spandex back in 2000. Fuck, you know what I mean?
See, like, but the thing is I honestly feel like that if they had put them in the traditional costumes back then, that people would have been like, "What the? This looks."
Well, I think people would have assumed it was a kids movie, and not a serious movie.
Yeah,
you know,
because also like the way that they're able to manipulate costumes with CGI is way different now too.
Right.
So it really would have looked like they were at they got their they got their fuck. I hate it. Go back to bowling, jerk off.
Wait, hold on. I got one last thing before we end it. Did you guys talk about the fact that he's not wearing the mask or the helmet?
Yeah, I was going to.
Like the mask is behind him, though. It looks like the mask is
my
like
biggest
down.
problem with the MCU movies, especially the end of phase 3,
everyone's got to show their face.
Is that not only does everyone have to show their face, every single person has a mask made out of nanotech that just disappears whenever they need to talk.
But it doesn't look like that. It looks like it's a hood.
I hope not. I agree. I hope it is a hood.
Watch, pull the picture back up.
Let me pull it back up. Hold on.
Just
if you look like behind his neck, it looks like there's
Chris,
something.
Just get the
there.
picture.
Get the picture.
Just get the picture, Chris.
Because my problem is that is it a sign that he's going to be taking the freaking mask off constantly?
Well, when they showed the brown and yellow's costume that is rumored to be used, that had the helmet also.
That's the costume. Now, is the brown and yellow costume going to be the same one that we got in the deleted scene for the Wolverine?
See what I mean? It kind of looks almost like a cowl.
It could be. I mean, he's got the turtleneck going over here, so it could be just kind of pops up and comes onto his head.
Yeah.
My fear is that the mask is going to be CG. Now they can do it, but
I don't think they're going to do it CG though.
That's unnecessary, right? If they do that,
they already do it with Deadpool's.
Right. Whenever he talks and emotes or whatever, they add the CG to it. But I don't know. I feel like they're holding off on the. Oh, sorry, wrong button. They're holding off on the reveal of the helmet, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Like, I feel like why not show it?
I think for these pictures they wanted us to see Jackman.
right, and kind of show that it's actually him in the suit.
If it's a mask, then they could be like, that could be anybody. Like,
Yeah.
what do we know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If
yeah, yeah.
we know it's Hugh Jackman, then it's Hugh Jackman. You know.
Yeah.
I think for production value.
I just hate like I rewatched Ant-Man somewhat recently, and like for no reason at all, the helmets just keep coming, and they're in the middle of battles and all that stuff, and they just keep pulling the helmets off so they can talk. And I remember distinctly in Ant-Man 1, it was explained that the helmet's what keeps you from losing your fucking mind by using the pin particles. So like it's ridiculous that now they've forgotten about that and they just take the helmets off constantly, getting bigger and smaller. They don't even get tired when they get bigger. That's a whole other conversation. But so it scares me that there's no helmet on him, because I'm like, what is he every now and then going to turn to talk to Deadpool and the helmet's just going to whoop?
Yeah. No, I don't think they're going to do that with him though, because they don't do that with Deadpool either. You know what I'm saying?
They haven't, because he wasn't in the MCU.
I don't think they're going to do it.
Very true.
Really
Very true.
Right. I hope not, and I think Ryan Reynolds will fight that. No, it's a mask that I have to take off. None of this nano stuff. And clearly the suits are not some sort of robotic armor. They're just suits. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's all positive.
So I don't see them doing that with him or Jackman.
Spider-Man should no longer have nanite suits. Like now that he should.
It doesn't look like he's going to.
I hope, right? In the next movie, he better take that mask on and off, not
exactly.
Every 2 seconds just turn and it just goes whoop, like that's just annoying.
It seems like that's what they're doing with Spider-Man's suit too. So they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah,
as far as that's concerned, I think it was just a cheaper option for them to do it.
I bet you, like, especially when you have a Avengers Endgame, and you have so many heroes and Infinity War, and they're all talking. It's like just let's just real quick. They're all nano. Tony Stark helped them out.
Yeah, instead of having to build 27 different helmets that like the face lifts up and it just seems like it was probably the cheaper option for them to do it that way. But I think, listen, man. No matter what, it's going to be a Deadpool movie. It should be great. You know. Reynolds is always highly involved, and I trust him to
what do we think about this last thing? Actually, I meant to mention this before. Channing Tatum is heavily rumored to play Gambit.
I think it would be fun.
Honestly, for me, it's more of a Channing Tatum's wanted this forever.
I don't care.
But he's a good comedic actor. He's a good action. He could be a good action star. So bring him in for a cameo. Let him do his thing. He gets what he wants, right? And then we move on.
Yeah, no. My thing is, I never wanted him to play Gambit. I don't care how much he wanted to play Gambit. I never wanted him to be Gambit. Like, I never thought he was the right character.
This is why it's a good thing for someone like you, because now he gets to play Gambit without really playing Gambit. I mean, he plays he'll play him for 20 minutes, and then we never get to see him again. Same thing with John Krasinski as Mr.
He's got a cameo. He shows up. Deadpool just cuts his head off, and we call it a day.
Well, he's got to say something. We have to hear the voice. We have to see him throw a card or something.
Yeah, he's got to throw a card. He's got to hit the bow set. Like, come on, man.
I don't want to hear Channing Tatum try and do a Cajun fucking accent.
Why not? Dude, in Hateful Eight, Channing Tatum does a fantastic accent. Like, you're not giving him credit. I feel like Channing Tatum could pull it off, especially because he wants to. I mean, he's wanted this for 20 years. So I think he could do it.
Working on it until they canceled the movie.
Right.
Yeah. That was the right move.
Channing Tatum showing up as Gambit is better
because they got bought out.
Right.
Listen, I don't care. It was the right move. It was
Channing Tatum.
It was like, let's keep going with this Gambit movie.
I will end it with this, okay? Channing Tatum showing up as Gambit will look better and be better than Nicolas Cage showing up as Superman in the Flash movie.
All right, I'll give you that, but that's just...
It's low-hanging fruit, but hey, listen, it's still fruit.
It's a very low bar, Chris.
Well, that's it. We're gonna end it there.
Are you gonna see Oppenheimer?
I'm gonna go see the Barbie. No, I'm not gonna see. I want to see Oppenheimer for sure.
Yeah,
I want to do the double feature and see both.
Yeah, there's a whole thing going on now.
It's
like
called
the Barbieheimer or something like that.
They're doing a double feature since they both come out at the same time. You can pay to see Barbie first, a quick break, and then Oppenheimer afterwards in IMAX.
God.
And I don't even want there's shirts honestly, that like I survived Barbieheimer or something like that. It's like,
you know what's happening? But they're leaning into it, and I'm okay with that. That makes it fun.
They're having fun with it.
I'm all right with it. But my thing is, like, Oppenheimer, I want to see it, and I know I'm just going to be upset with it.
I don't feel like I'm gonna be upset with it, but I do feel like
you are so fucking
I
negative.
will
today.
say though, but Christopher Nolan's
What
movies,
happened to you?
Christopher Nolan's movies have become more and more complicated just for the sake of being complicated. I mean,
that's what every movie since Inception that he's come out with has just gone further and further down for me.
like they're still good movies, but it's like his ego's getting a little crazy.
I completely disagree with you.
Right,
Interstellar was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Oh, I mean, all right, I can't. I just, you know what? We're gonna end it on that comment right there. That's gonna be the opening of the entire.
I hated it so much. I hated it so much.
The worst movies I've ever seen. Come on, bro.
I'm telling you, I hated it. I hated it.
Well, you know what?
What was the plan?
Wait. You know what we're gonna do? Because I never watched Interstellar.
Was almost unwatchable. Tenet was terrible.
Tenet was not terrible. Okay, look, I'm gonna watch Interstellar, refresh it in my mind, and then we're gonna deep dive it because I want to be able to argue with you on every point possible.
I'm gonna rewatch it.
This.
We'll definitely. I mean, we have Christopher Nolan movies on the wheel too. So
they're on there, but by the time we get to Interstellar, it's gonna be a decade from now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, everyone who jumped into the chat, Steve, thank you for talking shit.
Like wormholes because they keep getting older.
Thank you for joining the theater room. Lots of updates, and we're gonna come back next week with a deep dive and movie review. We have a lot of movies still coming out this summer. We have a lot of movies coming out this year, so keep your eyes peeled. Secret Invasion's ending soon. Ahsoka will do a deep dive for. I think Armor Wars, we should be getting some more information of once the Secret Invasion's over. So keep your eye out for a lot more.
You mean Armor Scrolls?
Armor Scrolls.
Armor Scrolls.
With that, like and subscribe, please, and we will see you next week on the theater room.
Later.
Deuces.